Mic check, mic check. Welcome in, everybody. I love it. I haven't even said anything except for welcome in, and we've already got 6 likes on the video. Ed, aloha. DTP, hello, hello. Off the rip, what's up? Rick Shark, welcome. Welcome in, and welcome back to the server. Matt Ryan here as always. Welcome in. Jay, welcome in. Bronzo. Mr. Spacely, thank you for the follow. All right, this is going to be I'm going to be talking about my trading plan for tomorrow. I'll be giving you guys a few stocks to watch for the rest of the week. And then we'll be doing, I'll be taking charting requests at the end of this live stream. And we can review anything that you have questions on or any stocks that you want me to go over. All right, keep in mind that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. All mentions in this stream are just my opinion. Here's what I'm watching for the week. The first one that's going to be making my watch list is SPCE. SPCE. I've mentioned this a couple of times in the past, but it hasn't really done anything since I've mentioned it. This gap area right here, so I'm on the daily chart time frame, by the way. This gap area right here is yet to be filled. SPCE has come down to test this gap area once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and has held up as support, maybe even 8 times there, has held up at support at $24 and then is now starting to push back up. We saw this after the initial drop down where it pulled back to this area and kind of gave you a bounce. Now I feel that this bounce right here is a little more solid because it's consolidated at $24, around $24 for about a month now. You've got a little bit of volume coming in, pushing it up off this level. And I think that this might be the beginning of a reversal, at least in the short term. So if we were to draw a downward trend line, it would look something like that. We've got a break of the downward trend line here and a push up off of the $24 level. I think that this looks good for a continuation play. Plus, SpaceX had something land this weekend, so it could be, like a sympathy move off of that news. So we're looking for a continuation on SPCE as of right now above 26.5. If that gaps up, we're going to have to change the trigger levels and adjust accordingly. But look, this is the beautiful thing about it. There's a couple of resistance points overhead, one of them being 27, all right? The next one being $28. That $28 level is a static point of resistance, just kind of based off of these wicks. Let me delete this line so you can see. That $28 level is a static level of resistance based off of this wick here, where it originally kind of pushed up to these highs. But what's interesting too is that the 50 EMA is also right here. So if SPCE only pushed up from, let's say, 26.5 up to 27, right? Only 50 cents profit margin there. It's still a 2% move. That's still really good for a profit margin. And that's on the low side. On the high side, we're looking at close to 6% here, 5.5% profit margin, if we're correct on this analysis and the volume flows in and we get a true continuation up to the top side. All right, so I like SPCE for a continuation bounce from where it's currently at, holding the gap area over here at $24 as a support. Write it down. Number 2 on the watch list for tomorrow will be PLUG. I've been watching this one closely. We actually put it on the watch list, so FCEL, had earnings recently, and we put it on the watch list the day that FCEL reported earnings, and the day after they reported earnings, and then we caught the run up. PLUG kind of ran in sympathy with FCEL, right? So FCEL ran up pretty large, pulled back a little bit, partially filled this gap, held support, and then started to push back up again. So what we're seeing with PLUG is kind of that same sympathy move, right? This almost to me looks like, from a technical standpoint, also a bear pennant pattern that started to break out. And if you want to go a step further, it almost looks like a double bottom play right here, where this would be your drop down, your push up, your second drop down. This is bottom one, this is bottom two, and then we're looking for the next push up to the top side. So it's literally the same level that we're watching on SPCE that we're watching on PLUG. It's going to be 26.5. The difference is that the 50 EMA is not the price target, whereas SPCE, remember, we were looking for the run to that 50 EMA. Instead, for plug, we're looking for the break of that 50 EMA. So our price target will be the top side of this. This is called your neckline if it's a double bottom pattern. This is going to be our price target. So let's just round it off and we'll say 27.5. That's going to give us a profit margin of about 4% to the top side if we get the follow through on the expected move. Right, so PLUG will be number 2 on the watch list for tomorrow, looking for a continuation play to the top side. Also, I want to talk about these stocks that I'm mentioning here. So last week, /ES, this was the last move that we got, right? Like, the range was shaping up. We got a breakdown of the range. We got a break of that 50 EMA. Kind of a big deal. A little bit of fear setting in on the market because we bounced at this 50 EMA multiple times, and I think I can speak for everybody when I say that this just feels a little bit overdone, overextended to the top side. I mean, so I don't know about you guys, but I would welcome a pullback. That being said, these stocks that I'm talking about now, SPCE, PLUG, so far have been showing relative strength, right? They're not following what the overall market is doing. So there's still some people that are willing to put on risk and buy down at these levels. And if that's the case, and these stocks are truly showing relative strength, then they'll be good ones to play if the rest of the market is coming down. And namely, like the FANG stocks, right? Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. We saw all of those stocks fall with the overall market. All right, number 3 on the watch list for tomorrow. I posted this one last week, and it's starting to look really good here. It's going to be Hood, HOOD. So not a lot of price action to go off of. I mean, this is literally it. So we had the opening. This is the IPO day. The opening high was around $40. It ran all the way up to 85. Right. So let me show you that. It ran all the way up here to 85. And then it's since sold off. So it's lost about 50% of its value after the first week where it ran up. Has since pulled back and then started to consolidate right here at $40. We're looking at a lot of different retests here at 40. I'm liking it if it can hold up above 40. So ideally, I mean, I just want to see this continue to make new highs. So a break of 43. But I would almost put Hood in the meme stock category. Who knows how far this can run and how much this can run if it really starts to break this downward trend line and get some momentum behind it. So there's not a lot of volume coming in on this right now, but even from a day trading standpoint, like the options contracts still look good. There's still good open interest there. The spreads aren't too bad. So I'm looking for a continuation on Hood. Has to absolutely hold up over $40 though. If this doesn't put in a new high over 43, there's no play there for me, at least from a day trading perspective, right? So want to see it over 43. This has a price target. I'm looking at a price target of 45, and then beyond that, maybe 47 and up to 50. The next one on the main chart watch list will be PLTR. PLTR, of course, right? Of course, what a beautiful setup here. So this was a break over, we were looking for the break originally over $27. Nice move here with this peak, and then the big cup and handle formation. We were able to catch this on the day that it broke out, right? So we caught the breakout move here to the top side. Then it gave us a little bit of a continuation there. Not much, but a little bit. Higher volume coming in, so I think PLTR is on a lot of people's radar right now. My price targets for this from where it's currently at would be $30 and then maybe even 30.5. I think 30.5 would probably hold more weight just because that's where this gap area is at. So there's a gap from 30.5 up to about 31.3. But I'm not looking to take it long into the gap. I'm looking to take it long much earlier than that, actually. So I think I'm going to go a little aggressive here and set a trigger at $29 as of right now. It's going to depend on the opening price. If it opens up at 29 or above 29, I'll set it right here at about 29.3. That's going to be from last week's high. But if it opens up below 29, I want to set an aggressive trigger level on this because I don't feel that 30 cents is going to make a huge difference for PLTR. All right, so PLTR will be a long idea over 29 following the cup and handle breakout. We're looking for continuation. If it pulls back, we want it to hold 27 as support. That'd also probably be a good dip area to maybe even get in for a swing trade. Has to hold 27 though. All right, I'm going to go over some stocks that have potential to make the watch list, and it's going to really depend on where they open up at. All right, so we'll call these side charts. Number one is Tesla. Tesla has, this is really interesting. So big sell-off here, and even further of a sell-off, but that sell-off got bought right back up. Right? And so Tesla has been pushing up, creeping up slowly to the 765 mark. It's still a little off. It's still a little far off from 765, but if it opens up near 765, I'm going to put it on the watch list for a break and run. All right. I think it's tough to say that this is a range because it's so sloppy, but look at where these candles are closing for the most part, right? Old resistance, new support. If you can look past that wick right there, these candles are for the most part trading within this area with 740 support, 765 resistance. So I'm going to say that this is a ranging play as of right now, and we're looking for a break of the range. But yeah, Tesla won't make the list. If it opens up any lower than where it's at right now, I probably won't put it on the watch list. But nonetheless, keep your alerts set at 765. Number two, those of you that have been in my Discord server, you shouldn't be surprised by this one. Number two is Boeing on the side chart watch list. This one is, it's ranging, definitely, with support at 210, resistance at 216. This is your setup, right? We put this on the watch list like, I think almost every day last week, looking for a break of this range, and it just never happened, right? We never got it. So this upcoming week, I mean, something's got to give. I don't think it's going to, well, it's not. It's not going to move sideways forever. So either 216 will break or 210 will break, and we'll just play the directional break. Now, the reason why it's a side chart right now is because it's trading right in the middle of our resistance and our support. So it's at 213, and this gives it a 50-50 chance of going either way. So the best case scenario for Boeing is that it either opens up near 210 so we can short it below 210, or it opens up near 216 so we can take it long over 216. No bias here. I don't really care which way it goes. I just care that it opens up closer to one of those two levels so that we can play the break and don't have to worry about, oh, well, is it going to bounce here or is it going to reject there? We just play the break and get a clean move on it. There's also actually a little gap here too. I want to point that out. It's not very significant, but it is there. Number three, UPST. This has been a really solid stock for us recently, and it makes big moves too. UPST, side chart watch, because all that you have to do is set an alert at 309, and if you get a new high, you've got to play. You've got to trade there, potential trade. So So this is a bull pennant pattern. So it ran up, bull pennant pattern, found support at 260, broke 260, ran up through 300 and beyond, almost up to 310, and has since kind of pulled back. But it did close over 300. So from here, you're absolutely, if you're going to be bullish on UPST, you absolutely want that to hold 300 and break over 309 for the play to the top side. Not much analysis to be given here. Just looking for a break of 309. That's it. The next one on the side chart watch list will be Dash, DASH. This was a big winner for us last week. We had this on radar before the news came out and before it gapped up. And then when we got the gap up, it was just confirmation for us. That's all it was. So yeah, nice move up here. Coincidentally, we had already been watching it and the news came out. So we have a bit of a catalyst, but following this run up, it would make sense that we get a doji day, kind of an inside day. Well, not necessarily an inside day, but a day where the stock cooled off a little bit. So from here, now we've got either a continuation watch over 227 or a possible gap fill below 216. This one probably will need a day or two to consolidate in this area before it makes a directional move, but I would keep an eye on it above 227 or below 216 for a break to either side, depending on which way it wants to go. The last one that I want to talk about is MU. I already have the range drawn out here. Earnings is coming up, and MU has been consolidating underneath this 200 EMA and the 50 EMA now for quite some time. I don't know if it's going to give us a break this week or if it's going to reject or continue to trade in this range. Have no idea what this is going to do, but I want to watch it over 75 because oftentimes you will get some sort of run into the earnings. So like a hype run or an expectations run. Earnings isn't far off, so I'm looking for a break of 75. Ultimately, want to see a break of like 76 too, with the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA being right there. So break of 75, break of 76 for the run up towards like 78 and then 80. So MU will be a side chart watch for us until it gets over 75, and then I think over 75 we'll be looking for a break of 76 and then go. All right. If you're just joining in, welcome in. I'm talking about my top stock picks for tomorrow. So far, we've reviewed SPCE, PLUG, HOOD, Tesla, PLTR, Boeing, MU, UPST, and Dash, DASH. What I want to do now is take some charting requests from everybody. If you missed the beginning part of this stream, don't worry, it'll be up for the next 24 hours. So when I end this live stream, you can just go back and rewatch it from the beginning and check out everything that we've already talked about. Rick Shark said, appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's not easy, but it is something that I love. So when you do something that you love, it doesn't always feel like work, does it? That's the beautiful thing about this. Plus, there's nothing more rewarding than going through and looking at the profits channel and seeing all of your crazy profits. Last Friday, I think that was probably one of the biggest days that we've had in this server as far as percentage goes. I mean, look at this. Actually, you posted one, Rick, close to 100% right there on plug. Percentage-wise, I mean, people were just killing it, right? So let me see, 83%, 80%. Let's see. 103% on PLTR, 93% AFRM, UPST, 50%, 28%. I mean, these are big percentages for us. 67%, 161%, 105. Well, that wasn't on the watch list, but you get the idea. So, yeah, I mean, last week was really a pretty nice week, but I mean, I get more excitement from seeing you guys post profits than myself posting them. Favorite part of Sunday. Matt said this is his favorite part of Sundays. I hear you. Who needs football, right? When you've got stocks and stock reviews. Jesus said, let's make some good gains this week. Yep, I agree with that. Damon, welcome in. All right, yeah, so Rick brought up AMD. Let's talk about that. AMD has a beautiful, beautiful setup here on the daily chart time frame. This is a massive bull pennant pattern. The only thing is that it's kind of currently, it is on a downtrend, right? Just most recently, not talking about overall. It is most recently on a downtrend, and it did have a little bounce here off the 50 EMA, off of this support line at 102. I don't want to see this break. I really don't want to see this break 102, but I definitely don't want to see this break 100. I feel, though, that if the overall market continues down, that AMD is going to have a hard time holding up, first of all, and secondly, breaking out against the overall market. I do really like this setup, but it has to hold up. I think it has to hold up over 100 at the minimum, and needs to get back up and over like 107. So this is the level that we're watching right here. Got to get up and over 107 before it's even something that I would consider adding to the watch list. But yeah, I mean, AMD on the day, it looks really good here. And it's AMD is one of my favorite stocks to trade. It just makes such clean price action for how cheap the stock is. It moves quite a bit too. Always really good volume on it, good open interest. But yeah, we've got to wait for this. We got to wait for this setup to curl back up here. We'll see if this 50 EMA holds. If it does and it pushes back towards 107, it definitely makes the watch list. Dan's asking, what's my take on LVS? LVS. All right, so let me back this up first of all to the weekly chart time frame. Actually, I want to see the max available. I want to see all the price action here. It's at a big point of support. It's at a very major point of support here. So it looks like you have some support right there at $30. More importantly, around $35. Look at all of these support levels. There, all the way around, right? And then your lows way down here at $1. Wow, that's crazy. From 148 all the way down to $1. Huh? Okay, so the weekly chart, it tried to get a bounce. I would think that this is a what's called a dead cat bounce. So there was so much selling pressure here. It just had a week where it kind of relieved that selling pressure and then came right back down. So let's move into the daily chart time frame. It actually gapped down. So I would think that this occurred because of news. So I don't know what that news is that that came out on it, but I would keep an eye on that. So LVS has a major level of support at 35 on the weekly chart time frame. And this is actually a double gap too, above, let's just say above $40. So from a day trading perspective, I don't see any setup here on LVS that I would want to day trade. Here's the deal. It's down and it's started to curl up, and it is like near a support point, right? So one could make the argument that, yeah, LVS is curling and it's moving back up. Let's take a day trade on it. I think the better option would be, the way that I would trade it personally, would be to wait on it to get back up to $40. So have true confirmation that it's reversing off of this support point, and then trade it into this gap area with a price target of like 41.5 in mind. That is exactly the same thing I'm doing with Zoom, right? So Zoom, one could make the argument, well, there's support here, there's also support here. Zoom had a big green day last week. It could be bouncing, right? And that's absolutely true. It could be bouncing. But I'm not personally going to add Zoom to the watch list until it gets up to 306, because I see more potential once this reverses and then gets into the gap. Then I see more potential then than I do where it's at right now. And that's just because there's so many resistance points overhead. So I feel the same way for LVS. There are, who knows? Does this meet resistance at 39? Does this meet resistance at 39.5? Or it's definitely going to hit resistance at 40? I would just wait. Now, as an investor, from maybe a swing trading perspective, you would want to get in on dips that are very close to major levels of support. So this might be your spot to get in if you're a day trader, or if you're a swing trader or you're an investor and you believe that this is going to reverse. You would want to get in as close to the support points as possible because, 35 to me would be a make or break point. Either it's going to hold 35 and reverse back up, or it's not going to and it's going to drop and just continue to fall. So entering as close to 35 as possible would give you a low risk play, right? A 2% drop, a 2% stop with the potential for a high reward. But yeah, the day trader in me says to wait for a break of 40. Somebody said CGC on the daily, is that set for a reversal? You know what? Yes, I would think so. I would think that CGC, if it's going to reverse, this would be the area that it's going to do that in. But nothing on this chart is telling me that it's ready to reverse yet. It's very weak. It's been coming down. It came down from highs of, what was this? 56. It's just been fading all the way out, right? So I see what you're talking about. Support over here around $14. Let's look at this on the weekly. Big support here in this area around $14, but you don't want to try to catch a falling knife. So from a day trading perspective, again, I don't see anything here that's reversing. Even from a swing trading perspective, I don't see anything here that's telling me that this is reversing. But what do I have set? 2 alerts right there. One at 15.2, the other one at 15.5. Both of them serve to let me know that this is reversing if it does decide to reverse. And then that way we could take a trade on it. So yeah, there's nothing here yet, but there could be. Matt said, let's do some analysis on Snapchat. Yeah, so this one's pretty easy to me. I'm considering this $10 range here. A big range from $70 up to $80. I'm considering all of that price action chop and a range. So personally, I have no interest in trading Snapchat unless it gets either up to $80 or below $70. Though at this point there is resistance at 76, so I've set an alert at 77 to let me know that this is pushing back up towards 80. But as far as putting it on the watch list goes, I don't think I'm going to unless it gets very close to $80 or gets very close to 70. By the way, there's a gap under 70 down to 64. So yeah, I would just rather wait for it to get to a point where it has to make a move than try to guess where it's going to go while it's in the middle of a wider price action range. Space said, I notice I'm shorting Boeing. I'm actually not shorting Boeing. I'm not shorting anything. If anything, I usually go long on it, but I don't have any bias on Boeing. I just said that if it breaks down, I would plan to short it, or if it breaks out, I would plan to take it long. But right now, there's no direction on Boeing. It's just moving sideways. You said you're in LMT and NOC, other aerospace stocks, but it's been losing. Yeah, those stocks though, even Boeing, really, they're almost like they get so many government contracts that they're considered too big to fail. So I don't know what your plan is for those, if you're investing in them or if you're swing trading them. I don't day trade those stocks. But I would think that if you're investing in them for a long-term hold, that it's just going to be a matter of how long are you willing to keep your money locked up in them, and how long are you willing to hold. I do think at some point that these reverse back up to the top side. Like I said, LMT, NOC, even Boeing, they're just stocks that are too big to fail. They get too many government contracts, and I can't see them going under. But yeah, I don't, as far as timing it goes, like when this thing is going to reverse and push back up, I mean, I have no idea. So it's going to be a matter of how long are you willing to hold and keep your money locked up in those stocks. Ed said, Apple looks like a short below 144. Just looking for anything to the downside if we see SPY and Qs continue down. Yeah, I would agree. So Apple on the daily had a breakout move, right, into the highs, which was awesome, and then came down and has since tried to hold the 50 EMA, lost that as support, and even came down a little further with the overall market. So you're right. If you are looking for something to play as, like, we'll just call it a hedge play, something that's moving with the overall market, if it's red, a short on Apple, a short on Microsoft, probably a short on Facebook, any of those would work for a continuation play to the downside underneath the low. Microsoft has an event this week, though, I believe. I like Microsoft long still because unlike Apple, like Apple's totally rejected and come down. It's like breaking the 50 EMA and, like, breaking its uptrend. So I like that one more for a short. But Microsoft is still, in my opinion, is still in play for a long idea. If it can hold up over 300 and push back up towards 306, that break of 306 is going to be massive if and when it happens. So keep an eye on that this week. Who knows, right? Maybe this dip on the market gets bought back up. And if that's the case, these stocks will likely reverse with it. And then we've got potential all-time high trades for Microsoft. But yeah, as of right now, if it continues down, I do agree with you that those FANG stocks would probably be pretty decent for a continuation short. How do I know a stock is weak like CGC? Well, the big indication that a stock is weak is the fact that it's trading underneath the 200 EMA. So from an analysis standpoint, that was hard to get out. From an analysis standpoint, on the daily chart time frame, if a stock is trading over the 200 EMA, it's considered to be in an uptrend. Whereas if the stock is trading under the 200 EMA, it's considered to be in a downtrend. Now let's talk about percentage loss from the top. If we draw a trend line from 56 all the way down to where CGC is currently trading at right now, that's a 72% loss from the top, from the highs. That to me says weak. So the fact that it's lost over 70% of its value, and is trading under the 50 EMA and is trading under the 200 EMA, that is weak. Good question. Damon said there's a trade here possibly on Amazon. Let's talk about it. He said it doesn't have a super pattern, but I'm interested to see what it does at 3,500, especially if showing relative strength or opens there near Monday. Yeah, I would agree with you. Amazon had a very large gap to fill from the earnings drop and pretty much has filled this entire thing with the exception of like $25 off the top, which isn't that much for Amazon. But it did struggle at 3,500, broke below, broke over, met resistance there, then broke over, but couldn't hold, and has since hit resistance here quite a few times. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what Amazon does here at 3,500 as well. I actually have an alert set right there, and I'm waiting on that. But this higher volume and this rejection down has me a little bit concerned that maybe it's not going to break and that it's going to continue down. But yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with having an alert set there and just keeping an eye on it. If it goes off, then we've got a potential trade. right? Then a price target of 35.50 and 35.75. Good. I'm glad that you brought that one up because it is one that I've kind of been watching, but I haven't said too much about it. Somebody asked, what are my thoughts on DATS? D-A-T-S. Okay. Not a lot of price action to go off of here. It's a penny stock, so it's under $10. This is your high at 9.13. So the run-up looked good. The pullback, so I would assume that this pullback right here, so your first pullback and then your second pullback means that you have support at $6. Your resistance is, let's just roughly say $9. So your price action would look like that. It rejected up here. Let me see the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, okay, so it rejected right at $9. Rejected at 9, tried to get saved and came down. I would say that this is not a very bullish sign, but who knows? Maybe this does reverse. I would set an alert at $9 and wait for a break of 9. So if you get a break of 9, there's a potential trade there to the top side into the all-time highs here. Somebody said Etsy, E-T-S-Y. Give me some analysis on that. Okay. Nice uptrend, held the 200 EMA, tested the 200, broke the 50, broke out of this consolidation most recently. It's placed at 230, so we'll go from where we're currently trading at all the way over, see if that level of resistance is true. Yes, it is. So 230, a break of 230, maybe a run to 240, and then up to 250. I would guess that if it pulls back from where it's at, it should hold 220 as support. All right, so that's just going off of like old resistance can become new support. So old resistance, new support potentially. And then this is your resistance area over here at 230. That lines up perfectly with where we're currently at. So I'd be looking for a break of 230 if that's to continue up. Etsy's on a nice, this is a really healthy uptrend. I mean, you see I have gap written down here. Anytime you see my analysis on something like this, like from you know, however long ago, a couple of years ago, I was trading it back then. So it's crazy to look at this and say that, you know, now it's at $250. I would have never guessed that Etsy would be trading that high. But then again, thinking about it now, like e-commerce was huge, and Etsy's a big part of that. And then, you know, like the whole COVID time frame, I mean, people were trying to like, I don't know, maybe they started to discover their entrepreneur skills and sell stuff online, you know, making baskets or whatever, weaving baskets, and Etsy just blew up. So it makes total sense that the stock would be trading this high, but who could have guessed about something like that? I like these stocks that are like the freelance stocks. So like Upwork is another one. I like Upwork. Fiverr is another one. I like Fiverr as well. Shopify is another one. I mean, Shopify is the big one, right? That one, I like that one. But yeah, for Etsy, you can see it maybe a little more clearly here. I'd be looking for a break of 230. All right, let's do one more here. Somebody asked about any thoughts on, I've never even looked at these stocks before, AN and what was your other one? STLD. Okay, so very different setups here. AN, is this I have to back this up to the weekly to see I want to see all of the price action here. So it is the all-time highs. So this is very easy analysis. There's your run-up. I'm not sure what this volume was, but I would be looking for a break of 125 or 124, no, 125. Look for a break of 125 at these highs And if you get that, there's a potential trade. But be careful that, I mean, this is ran from 102 all the way up to 125 and hasn't had much of a pullback. So I would think that this gives you like a day or two of pullback or consolidating first, and then maybe another run. So I would set an alert there, look for a break of 125. As for STLD, this looks weak to me. And then you have volume coming in here too on the downside though. So it looks like, you know, it was trying to hold the 50 right here, broke below, retested the 50. So this is a clear case of old support becoming new resistance, rejected off that, and then put in a new recent low. So this would, to me, look like a decent short below like 61.5 for the continuation move down. It's actually, I don't know if that's the true price. It actually looks like it's up after hours though. But from the daily chart time frame, it does look like it's breaking down. Cool. Well, guys, I'm gonna call it here. So the stocks that we reviewed in the live stream were SPCE, PLUG, HOOD, Tesla, PLTR, Boeing, MU, UPST, and DASH. All of those have potential to make the watch list for tomorrow. Thank you for all your charting requests. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck tomorrow. I hope you make some money, and I'll see you in chat. Take care.